Thank you. Good morning, and I guess still good morning. A few of you in the audience know who I am, and a few of you know that I can get pretty political at times. And I understand we live in a very divided country and that our hometown is no different. I would like to take a moment and address something that I think is wrecking our society. This is happening all over the Midwest, and I have a feeling you all know exactly what I'm about to say. I know that today is about celebration, but please, indulge me. Of all of the problems we face as a community, of all of the divisiveness, one thing needs to change today. The drive-through lane at Sonic is only for drinks. If you're gonna get a burger, just park it in a stall and please just get out of our way. Now that that's out in the open, we can all begin healing. Thank you, Holly, and thank you to the Education Foundation for having me. I'm sure a few of you thought this was a mistake just about 10 seconds ago. You all really outdid yourself on this year's theme, and I love it because for over 7 years, my team has been making documentary films for the United States Army. So I love that lights, camera, action. It kind of has this romantic idea that making movies is kind of just that easy. It's lights, camera, action. Boom, the movie's made. As you can clearly see, sound sometimes is tricky. Now, the movies that I've worked on and that my team has worked on, I guess for those who haven't seen it, can be summed up very similarly. We're a lot like Wicked Part 2. In that Wicked Part 2 and all of our films were snubbed by the Oscars. I also charged $300 million for a film, and we feature green people, so, we're pretty much equals. Like all of you, I'm connected to this school in some way, as it's been said. I'm in the class of 98, and I think it's still there, but if you go by the gym where the locker room is, there's a big blue thing on the wall with all of the track and field records for Leavenworth High School. And it's still there? Awesome. So if you go, on the top right, you're going to see some names from the mid to late 90s. And I ran with those people. I watched those records being set. From the back of the pack. They were incredible athletes, and I was present. I was an average athlete, and that's probably being pretty generous. And to be quite frank, I was probably just an average student, and that's also being generous. Just didn't take school that seriously. That's definitely changed. But what did take me serious was the administration. After all, I was selected to go to Boys State. Now, for those who don't know what Boys State is, it's basically a program where they take the best and brightest young men from the high school and attend a week-long mock government during the summer. Well, that year, Leavenworth miscalculated the number of students that they needed to send, and they were one short. So they followed protocol for this, and I can see some of the administrators getting a little nervous because I'm about to reveal something. The protocol involved this giant wheel with all the students' names on it, freshman to senior. It's digital now, but back in the 90s, it was an actual wheel. And it had the lights and the bells. It looked just like something out of a casino. So to fill that last seat, they gave it a spin, and randomly my name came up. It just didn't make sense. I had zero interest in politics at the time, and that's also changed. But what hasn't changed is that wheel, because there's really no other explanation on why I'm actually standing here today. Now, after high school and after college, before 29 Pixel Studios, I was lending my skill sets to the school through video production, photography, maybe some graphic design here and there. and I was lucky enough to work with Miss Katie Edwards. So I want to take a moment real quick and express my gratitude to Katie. A lot of you know her or know of her, or you've met her, and trust me, you would remember. She's a great asset to our community and one of the titans of Leavenworth education. And we are forever indebted to what she's done for our pioneers. And honestly, it's only now that we're really seeing how much she helped hold us all together. Because now that she's enjoying her well-earned retirement, ever since she went on retirement, there's been a budget crisis, massive conflict on the boards of education, talk of closing a school and opening private prisons. So I think we can all agree that we can blame Katie Edwards for all of this mess. I'd like to also thank all of the donors in the room. It's been said, seriously, what you all do for our pioneers, and hearing it from the teachers has been fantastic. Affordability is definitely on everyone's mind, so opening up your wallet to help fill these gaps is so appreciated. I'm not sure when this happened, but it feels like it's happened over the past 10, 15 years. But it seems like these days, being a workaholic is no longer some sort of badge of honor. As a workaholic myself, I can say that there's no good aholic to be. But my generation, and I'm sure the generations before me, kind of saw it as an asset. See, the decade before forming my company, I worked as a government contractor doing graphic design. And then after clocking out of my job, I would clock in to my side hustle as a freelancer, pursuing my passion and creating art for customers. I was relentless, working constantly outside of my day job, and then in the downtime, I was studying my craft and trying to refine my skills. The only equal to this deep passion for this profession was probably the fear that I had that at my day job, we might lose that government contract. Every year, the contract would come up for recompete or renewal, and that fear was there, deepening my workaholism, trying to create that safety net for my family, my future family. And after about 8 or 9 years of this, I was routinely making more money on the side than I was at my day job. This was a way to kind of remove that fear. This felt like a path to success. And then 2013 came along, and there was this opportunity, a multi-year contract that was a perfect fit for my decade of experience. And no-risk candidate, that's who I was. The government was going to save money. I was a lock to win this contract, and I was ready to take that leap. I gave my employer 6 months' notice, and it was time to pull the trigger to officially create 29 Pixel Studios. Why not make this extremely risky move since my twins had just turned 1 year old? So when I got the call that we didn't win, it was a punch in the gut. Panic set in, like a lot of panic. I was a failure. I was a lock to win this. This was the plan to go full time with my passion. It physically hurt. Like it physically hurt to the point where I was on the ground. And while I was hunched over on the ground, I felt a tiny hand tap my shoulder. And I looked up to see squatting down beside me my baby girl with her hands covering her face to play peekaboo. And she had a smile. Her needing that peekaboo partner quickly put everything in perspective for me. It was her telling me it was going to be all right. This punch in the gut was nothing more than a speed bump that I'd already passed. And it was time to get to work for her and her brother's future. It's always a trick to kind of define what I do for a living. Business owner, entrepreneur, video guy, the designer, spreadsheet addict. It's all accurate. But at the center of all of it is storytelling and art. Art as a career has always been complicated. Generationally, culturally, it's complicated. I can't imagine my father telling my grandfather, hey, I want to be an artist. I just don't think that would have gone well. And it's a privilege to say you want to be an artist and have people support you. And I know that because no one stopped me. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, looking back at my early work, someone should have stopped me. Someone should have said, hey, man, ever thought about accounting? But they didn't. And now I really don't know how to define success. I really don't. But proving that you can create art, support a family, and contribute to society, and show your kids that this is a viable option, that sounds like a pretty good definition of success to me. Now, I mentioned that a couple of our employees get to make feature films for the Army. But in addition to that, the rest of 29 Pic Studios gets to make other video production, photography, graphic design, web, we work with social media. The bottom line is we are all artists. And we get to do some pretty cool stuff. A year ago, almost to the day, we were in Alaska filming in Anchorage and on Kodiak Island, getting chased by bears in the hotel parking lot. A year before that, we were in a Black Hawk helicopter landing on Vail Mountain, working with the 10th Mountain Division. We filmed commercials for Legoland, Madame Tussauds. We got to work with the NFL Fuel Up to Play 60. And we've had the Joint Chief of Staff of the Army, of the military, the highest ranking military officer there is, ask for a pre-release of one of our films. And in my industry, that's called a bootleg. The current Chief of Staff of the Army has a project that's trying to get soldiers to write more. So it's super great hearing about this creative writing initiative. And we have a handful of our employees just crushing the Chief of Staff of the Army's initiative. We were brought to document in not once but twice the rescue of a green sea turtle as it moved from its rehabilitation center to its forever home once it was determined they were unreleasable. I've been lucky enough to send my team to Las Vegas for our 10-year anniversary, where some of them brought friends, some brought family, and one extended the trip and got married. I've been lucky enough to have one of my employees film in Ortona, Italy, for one of our documentaries. We filmed a soldier that was actually on the beach at Normandy D+2. We interviewed another World War II veteran who fought in the sewers in the Warsaw Uprising. Such an honor. But the best part of my job, the very best part of my job, is giving careers to artists. Occasionally, a high school will ask me to come talk to kids, and when talking to these students, I kind of explain to them the cooler the profession you want to do, the more you have to push yourself to improve. You have to improve your craft all the time. It doesn't stop when you land a job. Everyone wants a career where they get to do something fun. And if you're lucky enough to have a profession that is your passion, it will be short-lived and wasted if you don't continue to grow. You will be in danger of being just another starving artist. And that's an expression I hate. Passion should not require poverty. It's important to shine a light on this, to show my kids that this is a viable option that you can do for a living. And maybe that's the lights and the lights camera action. And if that's the case, the camera to me is perspective. I've seen what my industry does to young talent, and it's a problem. I could have complained online, done some tweets, posted on LinkedIn, but I would just be saying what everyone already knew. So instead, I chose action. I felt like maybe I was in a position to do something. Now, I can't change the industry, but maybe I can change the trajectory for a few folks. Now, I'm a capitalist, and I know it's a dirty word these days because somewhere in history, Worshippers of Adam Smith became the loudest business zealots on the planet, blinded by the bottom line and ignoring the long-term implications of devaluing a human. These capitalists are ruining capitalism to me. What they don't understand is we're not above anyone. And my employees have heard me say this so many times. How we do what we do is just as important, maybe even more important than what we actually do. People want to work with people they like and people they respect. So I built a company where artists get health insurance, retirement, vacation, sick leave. You're not allowed to work more than 40 hours a week. That's rare in a lot of industries these days and almost unheard of in mine. And that's probably why we haven't won an Oscar. But we have health insurance. And honestly, that feels a little harder to win these days. Make no mistake about it, generating revenue isn't easy or simple. But I wanted to focus more on potential than profit. I wanted to make fun things while the artists have a safe place to grow and to succeed. And all of us, we know how lucky we are to get to pursue our passion as professionals. I see a lot of parallels with my business and the world of education. Feels like the system maybe ain't paying teachers enough, or our inability as a state and as a country to equip those teachers with the best learning environments in the world is a shame. And then funding our schools based on the value of homes and our zip code just seems insane to me. Now, it's not the Shawnee Mission kids or the Blue Valley kids' fault that they were born into a rich school district. But it shouldn't be the pioneers' fault that they happen to be in a school district with lower home values. Having these gaps creates the need for the Leavenworth Education Foundation. And to have people like you in the audience opening their wallets to donate to help make a better USD 453. All of this, while the teacher's passion is putting the student's future first in every classroom, every day, for every student. Every student, regardless of how they look, identify, who they love, or how they worship, every student. Now, I'm not going to pretend like running my little small business is even close to running the largest employer in Leavenworth with a $40 million budget. And trust me, you certainly don't want that average guy doing that. But I will say this, funding education based on zip codes feels just broken, and the people that will fix it are sitting in the classrooms right now. Which brings me back to the theme. The lights are the adults who believe in the students, sometimes before the students believe in themselves. The camera is how we choose to see them as potential, not problems. And the action is what we are all doing with that responsibility. Because everywhere right now in the world, especially regarding equity and education, we feel like we've been punched in the gut and we're hunched over on the ground. But if you look up, there's a child out there needing a peekaboo partner. And what we do for them matters today. Thank you.
Nick, thank you so much for that incredible story. Your story is a powerful reminder of what we can happen when creativity, hard work, opportunity, and a game of peekaboo all come together. And I might be incredibly proud of see that our Leavenworth alumni out in the world doing amazing things, using their talents to tell stories, build businesses, and make an impact. We are especially grateful for your continued support of the Leavenworth Education Foundation. And so we have something special for you today that's never been done. For the first time ever, the Leavenworth Education Foundation is presenting the Golden Pioneer Award. Yes, this is a recognition of the alumni who exemplary, their creativity, their leadership, and the commitment to giving back to the community has helped shape them. In the spirit of today's theme, Lights, Camera, Action, it seemed only fitting that this award was also created by a Leavenworth Education Foundation grant right here at the high school. The Golden Pioneer Award was designed and created by students from Mr. Ryan Stovall's recognition, and a student named Joe actually designed this and created this and made this. So, without further ado, you get, drum roll please from the audience, the very first Golden Pete Award! This was designed with one of the 3D printers that we actually gave to the foundation gave to them, and so it's made out of, from head to toe. This is made for you, so congratulations.